Good morning, children. Welcome back. I hope you all must have enjoyed the first session. In the previous session, we have discussed about the sentences, the subject and the predicate, the transitive and intransitive verb, the object and the complement, the direct object and the indirect object. Shall we have a small test to recall whatever we have learnt in the previous session? Okay, let's start. Now the first question what I am going to give you is to pick out the subject and the predicate. Okay. Now the first sentence is the singing of birds delights us. The singing of birds delights us. Number 2, across the path lay a dead snake. Across the path lay a dead snake. Number 3, work hard. Okay, so under this category I am giving you 3 questions. Now the next question, say whether transitive or intransitive verb. Okay, now under this the first question is he moved the table. He moved the table. Number 2, the earth moves. The earth moves. Number 3, he rang the bell. He rang the bell. Let me give you the fourth sentence. The bell rang twice. The bell rang twice. Okay. Now let me give you the third question. Circle the direct object and underline the indirect object. Okay. In this, the first question is he gave her an apple. He gave her an apple. Number 2, will you make me a cup of tea? Will you make me a cup of tea? Number 3, our grandmother told us a story. Our grandmother told us a story. Got all the questions, children? Shall we discuss the answers now? Come on. Now the first question is pick out the subject and the predicate. In that, the first sentence is the singing of birds delights us. What delights us? Delights means make us happy. What delights us? The singing of birds. So here the singing of birds together, a group of birds together becomes the subject. Question number 2, across the path lay a dead snake. What is lying down there? A dead snake. So lay is the past tense of lying down. Okay. So what is lying down? A dead snake is lying down. So here the dead snake becomes the subject and lay across the path, that becomes the predicate. Okay. Now the next question, work hard. Work hard. Could you find the subject here? No. Remember the sentences, the types we said, the subjects we said. Remember? Yeah, there sometimes the subject may be hidden. So the same way here the subject is not mentioned, but what will be the subject? Yes, the word you will become the subject. You work hard, right? So you will become the subject and work hard will become the predicate. Clear? Now the next question, say whether transitive or intransitive, right? Please recall whatever we have learned in a sentence. If the verb needs an object to get the complete sense, then that verb becomes transitive. Okay, so if you pick out a transitive verb, you should find an object, right? Come on. The first question, he moved the table. What did he move? The table. So could you get an object here? Yes, the table is the object. So the verb moved becomes the transitive verb. Clear? Now the next sentence, the earth moves. Are you getting any object here? The earth is not moving anything. The earth moves. So here the verb moves doesn't require anything, any word to get the sense completed. So here the verb moves becomes intransitive. Now question number 3. He rang the bell. What did he ring? The bell. So you are getting answer for the question what? So that becomes the object. So what is the object here? The bell. So here the verb rang needs the object, the bell. So here it becomes the transitive verb. Now the fourth sentence is the bell rang twice. The bell rang twice. Here the action is not carried to, or the action is not passed to any other word. The bell rang twice. So here you can't find an object. So this verb, the word rang, becomes an intransitive verb. Are you clear? The next, circle the direct object and underline the indirect object. Yeah, please recall the rule. The answer for the question what becomes the direct object, and the answer for the question whom becomes the indirect object. Okay? Now, he gave her an apple. What did he give her? An apple. So, an apple becomes the direct object. Whom did he give? Her. So, her becomes the indirect object. Now, question 2. Will you make me a cup of tea? Will you make me a cup of tea? What will you make? A cup of tea. Here it's not a single word. Okay? A cup of tea. So, a cup of tea becomes the object and direct object as it answer the question what. Now, if I ask the question whom will you make a cup of tea? Me. So, me becomes the indirect object. Now, question 3. Our grandmother told us a story. What did our grandmother tell? A story. So, a story becomes the direct object. To whom is she telling the story? To us. So, the word us becomes the indirect object. Are you all clear, children? Shall we move on to the next part of this topic, the sentences? Yes. Now, let's discuss about the kinds of sentences. There are 4 kinds of sentences. They are assertive or declarative, interrogative, imperative, and exclamatory sentences. Now let's begin with assertive or declarative sentences. An assertive statement can be affirmative or negative. What is affirmative? Affirmative is nothing but positive. So an affirmative sentence will not have any negative words such as no, not, neither, etc. For example, the fox looked at the bunch of grapes. The fox looked at the bunch of grapes. It jumped again and again to reach it. These 2 sentences do not have any negative words. So, these 2 are affirmative sentences. And the second, negative sentences. The negative sentence will have a negative word such as not, neither, no, nor, never, etc. For example, the fox could not reach the grapes. Clear, children? So, an assertive statements can be affirmative or negative. It starts with a capital letter and will end with a full stop. Okay? Now, let's move on to interrogative statements. Interrogative sentences are nothing but questions. A question can be of 2 types. One is yes or no question and the other is WH questions. Now, let's begin with yes or no questions. For example, if I ask you, do you understand what I teach? Will you help me? Is she your sister? Now just look at all these 3 sentences. What is the first word? How do they start? In the first sentence, do you understand? So do. In the second sentence, will. In the third sentence, is. So all the 3 words are verbs. Can you get that? Yeah, do is the verb, will is the verb, and is also is the verb. From the given examples, you can guess that the yes or no questions begin with the verb. But if you notice these 3 words, do they do any actions? No. But they show the tense, the time in a sentence. So, these kind of verbs are called as auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. Okay. So, we can say the yes or no question will always begin with an auxiliary verb. Now, what are auxiliary verbs? You must be knowing about the BE form. So, when we have BE form, the words am, is, are, was or were. So, any of these 5 verbs can be used in the place of BE. So, any of the BE verbs, these are auxiliary verbs, and the modals like can, could, may, might, will, shall, etc. can also be used as auxiliary verbs. Now, the perfect forms of verbs has, have and had. Again, these can be used as auxiliary verbs. So, whenever you ask a question beginning with an auxiliary verb, you will be expecting the answer yes or no. So, these type of questions are called as yes or no questions. Clear? Simple, isn't it? Okay. Now, let's move on to WH questions. WH questions, by the term itself you can easily make out, right? Any word which begins with the letters WH, like what, when, where, which, who, whom, etc. when they are used in the beginning as a first letter in a sentence are called as WH questions. When you frame a WH questions, you will be expecting a particular answer. Now, for example, if I ask you, what's your name? So definitely you will be giving a particular answer. If I ask you, how do you come to school? You will say, by van or some other answer. So, whenever a question is asked beginning with the WH word, definitely you will give a particular answer. Okay? Now, when we deal with the questions, we all know that at the end we'll have to put a question mark. Right. When we use WH questions, certain WH forms will be used only for persons, and those words are who, whose and whom. These three words will be applied only for persons. For example, who is your friend? Whose is this book? Whom do you want to meet? Okay, so these three words will be used with persons. Now, among these, who will be used as a subject? Who is your friend? And whom will be used as an object? Whom have you invited? For example, if I say, whom have you invited? Who's inviting? You are inviting. So, you becomes the subject. Whom you are inviting. So, whom there becomes the object. Okay? And which are the words will be used both for person and things? The words what and which will be used for both persons and things. Now, what is in your purse? If I say, you may say money or cards, etc. If I ask you, what is he? Is there any confusion? What is he? For this, I may give an answer. He is a doctor. He is a businessman. Okay? So, if you want to ask a person's profession, you have to frame a question like this. What is he? What is your father? Are you getting it? You should not ask, what are you doing? If you ask, what are you doing? I'll say, I'm teaching. Okay? So, that is not the proper way of asking if you want to know about the profession of a person. Okay? So, when we use what with a person, it means we want to know his or her profession or trade. Clear, children? Fine. Now, sometimes These WH words may act as adjectives also. For example, what color, which movie, whose car. So I hope you must be knowing about adjectives. Adjectives are words which describe the noun. What color, color noun. Which movie, again movie, noun. So the word which is talking about the movie. So adjective. And whose car. Okay. So certain interrogative words may act as adjectives. And sometimes the WH words can also be used as adverbs. What are adverbs? Adverbs are words which describe the verbs, the actions. So, the words when, where, why, how long, how far, how often, how soon. So these words talk about the verbs. So they act as adverbs, and so they are called interrogative adverbs. Okay. Fine children, I think you would have enjoyed this session very well. In the next session, we will discuss about the imperative and exclamatory sentences. Till then, be safe, be happy, take care.